What's up, everybody? It's Anthony Rosa, the community finance coach, aka Mr. Remedy, and I'm super excited to have my boy Joey Chan on the line. Joey, say what's up to everybody.
What's going on, everyone?
Today we are on a Money Monday Lunch and Learn. We're talking about your dream home, and really I'm excited because the weather is changing. We have the sun out longer, and a lot of my clients are asking me about budgets and strategies around things that they want to do in their house. And so if you're watching today's Lunch and Learn, if you're an investor, you're a homeowner, you're a renter trying to buy, this is the great opportunity for you to start thinking outside the box on how you can afford building your dream home. With that said, Joey, why don't you kick us off and introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, Anthony, thank you so much for having me. I've been on your show before, and you've been on my show as well. So I've been a contractor for the last 22 years. So I've kind of done a little bit of everything in terms of contracting. So I started off myself personally as a kitchen designer. So I understand a lot about kitchens, how to design kitchens all down to the nitty gritty. And I also own a kitchen design store as well. And so I focus a lot on kitchens, but that's not all I do. I also do a lot of bathrooms. I actually do more bathrooms a year than kitchens because they're a lot easier and faster to do. And that's a much more affordable project for most people. With that said, though, I've also done additions, finishing basements. I've done decks. So right now I'm working on a couple addition projects and also a couple of basements, a couple of kitchens, a couple of bathrooms. So a little bit of everything we work on. And in terms of, again, my history, so I've done, along with the kitchens and baths, I used to be also a home inspector as well. So I did that for a period, tried that out, and then I got into the home investing space, right? So that's kind of how I know you through the home investing space originally. And with that, I flipped about 40, 50 homes. In terms of that, we still own about 7, 8 rental properties as well. And we also own rental properties out of state. So I've got a lot of experience in terms of that. And even before that, going into construction and things like that, I was in the finance space as well.
Right.
So, yeah.
So that's definitely a good background, as from a contractor's point of view, starting in that and those different elements, those nuances you shared with us. I appreciate Joey sharing that. That's a lot of doors. That means a lot of experience. That means a lot of money lost. That means a lot of money saved. So today on the Lunch and Learn, we're going to talk about how to cut some of those corners. Joey, if you don't mind sharing with my audience a little bit of these tips and tricks that I call remedies on how they can have their dream home. So, Joey, people are outgrowing their houses. They're not selling after COVID. The market is hot, over asking price. Either you're going to move out or you're going to work on your crib, make it a little bit nicer. What are some of your thoughts?
Yeah, so that's what I'm seeing a lot of lately. A lot of people are doing home additions on their houses, but with that comes a lot of planning, right? So what I would not cheap out on is really the planning stage. Put even more thought into the planning, and also not only that, have your contractor involved in the planning space. Don't just go out and get a random architect and start planning with the architect, because at the end of the day, the architect is not building your house, right? So with the architect, though, you do want to make sure a lot of detail is in the architect plans. Don't just get a very generic plan and just say, here you go. And then you show it to a contractor and then they end up having to figure out a lot of things. And that slows things down as well. The other thing I would encourage people to do is also to get an interior designer.
Okay.
So so that's not very popular, especially in the house flipping community, except when they go into the higher end. When they go into, let's say, the 750 to $1 million homes,
Wow. Okay.
which nowadays are not even high end anymore, believe it or not. When I was growing up, I used to think about $1 million home as this great big mansion. Now it's just a regular house nowadays, believe it or not.
Especially in Hoboken, right? You can definitely
Yeah,
get something down
exactly.
there. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in most cities, like you be a bargain nowadays is a $500,000 house. That's a bargain, you know.
Wow.
With the interior designer, though, what I would do is, find that person to help you figure out all your finishes, and what your colors are gonna be, what your tiles are gonna look like, what your fixtures are gonna be, and that person is also gonna help you locate it and also help you order it as well. So that's gonna save you a lot of time and your planning, right? And once you have that, it's gonna speed up the whole process as well, as for the contractor, because the contractor is not an interior designer. Okay. And a lot of people mistakenly rely on the contractor to be that person. And they're really not. The average contractor doesn't really know interior design or anything like that. He'll just put up whatever you purchase.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And so I wouldn't rely on that person. I would find someone who's actually an interior designer. Yes, you may pay a little bit more. So an interior designer is going to range in cost, right? So let's say you're doing a simple bathroom, you're going to pay as little as, let's say, 2,000, and where you're doing an entire home, you may pay up to, let's say, $20,000 for an interior designer. And again, I think is well worth it if you're gonna do all that, right?
Oh wow. So
Yeah,
talk
they're
to
gonna
me
help
now.
streamline.
So you provide an interior designer? Does the customer come with an interior designer?
We can do either one. I've worked with several, throughout the years, so I can recommend someone to you that I've done work with in the past. Or if you have someone that you already know, I'm also able to work with that person as well.
Wow,
So, so
that's great. That's a great first remedy, right? Getting an interior designer, come up with the planning, make sure you have your finishes on point, right? Because when it gets to that contractor point, they don't care what they put up. They're just gonna get, and if you don't have and guide them the right way, then it might not be that dream home you were really looking for with so
yeah,
that is a great remedy for anybody that's watching on today's Lunch and Learn. This is what we're looking to do: connect with local people, good people, where we can kind of share different tips and tricks on how to save or make money on this Money Monday. So, Joey, now that you have all the information from the interior designer,
mhm.
when does pricing come into play?
Yeah, that's a great point, right? So pricing, it makes it actually much, much easier to price, because now you know exactly what you're putting on the walls, right? Or where the walls are going to be configured, what kind of tile, what the tile layout looks like. So now the contractor can't really come back to you and say, "Oh, I priced it for a staggered layout pattern for the tiles, and you're doing a a different pattern," so they can't really come back to you and say these things, "Oh, I didn't know it was going to be tile, I thought it was going to be hardwood." So it eliminates all these kind of questions and
Hmm.
too much back and forth once you get into that. So it makes it so much easier for the contractor to kind of price things out. So once you have that interior design done, then you give it to the contractor. The architectural plans is really the foundation of everything, right? It's gonna tell you, hey, my walls are. Think of it like this: the architect plans are really more for the township, and in order for you to get permits.
Hmm.
Okay, so once you have that, then, like I said, you get the interior designer, and the interior designer is going to really tell you what color are you painting the walls, are you what kind of doors are you installing, what kind of flooring are you installing, all these kind of more detailed questions. Then the next step is having the contractor go and actually price everything. Either they source the material, or the interior designer source the material, or the homeowner source the material. So you should have some type of chart to say who's buying what, you know, and a lot of that is going to be created by the interior designer. So
So
that cuts
now,
down.
a biggest thing for me as a finance coach, I'm finding that clients can't afford, or they have high credit card balances, or they have equity in the house. How does the contractor come in? Like, is there a conversation with the contractor? Do they care about this? Do they just want to get paid and get out? What are some of your thoughts from your point of view?
Yeah, so for me, I have different ways to work with clients, right? What I first do is I have them fill out a questionnaire on my website. So that questionnaire is going to ask you basically, your basic things: your name, number, email address. Then it's going to ask you, are you the owner of the home? Are you a renter? Who are you, right? Then it's going to ask you, what are you looking to do? Are you looking to do a bathroom, a kitchen, a basement, right? And then also it's going to ask you, what is your rough budget? A lot of contractors are scared to ask this. I don't know why, but you you have to figure out, the homeowner has to figure out what their rough budget, what do they have in mind, right? Are they going to do it? So for example, if somebody approaches me and says, hey Joey, I want to do an addition on my house, and I say, hey, we get up to the point where I say, hey, what is your budget? And they tell me, I have about $50,000 I want to invest in the house. So I tell them, listen, I apologize, but this project is probably not for us, because any addition is not going to cost $50,000. Not anymore. Back in 2000, the year 2000, you might have been able to do it, but in 2025, there's absolutely no way you can do any type of addition for that much.
Now, why is that?
Right.
Is that supplies up? Is it cost of labor?
Everything, yeah, everything is up. And then you have the tariffs that are going to be coming into effect. So right now you have a lot of suppliers who are sending us warnings. Hey, our pricing is going to go up anywhere from 10 to 50% in the next month or so. Basically, they have inventory. Once that inventory is done and they have to replenish that inventory, this is when you're going to start seeing all these companies implement these actual tariffs, right?
Right.
So that's where
So
it's going
now
to
is the time,
affect.
right before all these.
Well, now is already too late, unfortunately, unless you're going to get started like literally today. Now is already too late to plan and do these things. So if I was a contractor, I would put some type of clause to say, hey, what we call escalation clause in terms of material, or I just leave it out of my contract and say, hey, I'm going to do labor only, except some of these basic building materials. And then even the
Have the
basic building
homeowner buy the
materials.
material so they understand what it is that they're paying for.
Correct. Yeah.
I mean,
Correct.
that's fair, right? So that people don't think that they're upcharging. And I mean, what
Mhm.
happens if you get a better price at Home Depot or Sherwin-Williams? Can they still use your contractor pricing?
Yes. I've done that quite often in the past. So I have different accounts at different, let's say, suppliers, right? I usually pass on that savings to the client and I let them use my account. For example, at let's say Floor and Decor, I'll let my clients use my account. Um like there's a tile place. I forgot the name of the tile place. It's tile something.
Mm.
So
We'll get back to that. Yeah.
yeah, they also have this. give a 30% contractor discount. So I usually let them use my account, and they'll get that 30% rather than just a walk-in client.
Get walk-in
They're gonna
pricing.
get hit. Yeah.
Right.
So that's a big price difference.
Can be like
Uh,
$50 a gallon for a consumer DIY. And that same gallon could be $12.99 for a contractor that's buying thousands of gallons a year.
right. Yeah. Yeah. I wish the saving was that big, but it's not.
I'm gonna have to connect you to my rep with Sherwin-Williams that covers Bergen County.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a
Um,
Sherwin-Williams rep. I unfortunately I don't use them that often. I'm not a huge, no disrespect to him or Sherwin-Williams, but I don't use Sherwin-Williams as much. I like Benjamin Moore a lot
what do
better.
you like? Why do you like
Benjamin
Benjamin
Moore.
Moore? Okay.
Well, the Aura, of course. That's the top of the line series, the Aura, but it can get very, very expensive with the Aura.
Again.
Yeah, it's anywhere from about 65 to almost $100 a gallon.
So talk to me about what do you enjoy more? Where do you think that households spend more time? Is it the bathroom? Is it the kitchen? What do I do first if I have to break down these projects step by step?
If you're gonna do project one at a time, let's say I have clients that have been with me for over 20 years, and they'll do one project every year or every other year. The first one that was done was their kitchen, right? Because
Mm.
kitchen is really going to give you the biggest bang for your buck inside the
Okay.
house, especially if
Kitchen
it's
has a
a
better appraised
larger kitchen.
value?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
you're basically going to get a one for one. Whatever you're spending on that kitchen, you're going to get that back on resale. So if you're spending
Okay.
$100,000, let's say, on a kitchen, you're gonna be able to sell your house for about $100,000 more,
That's a
right?
good remedy. I don't know if a lot of people know that, right?
Mhm.
They would
Yeah,
think that, I mean, obviously for appraised value, you think that redoing their floors before a sale gives them the appraised value, or do you think the kitchen?
it depends on what is wrong with the floor, right, and what type of
Right, the
floor they
conditions.
have.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have, let's say, hardwood floors, and it's got little scratches and it's got dings and dents, you might want to refinish it. Okay. If you've got some other type of flooring, you may want to cover it with new vinyl, right? And also, it depends on the price point of the home. So there's different strategies for different price points. If you're over the $1 million price point, people are gonna want a, a white plank, white oak hardwood floors, right? Because that's what everybody else in the $1 million home has. If
Mm,
you're in the 500 and down, and I don't think they're gonna expect you to have that. If you're gonna have, let's say, vinyl floors, that's fine. Okay,
mm.
with that market, it's kind of the 500 to a million where you have a little bit of fluctuation. So you may have older hardwood floors, the 2 1/4 red oak, and you're gonna refinish it, and so that's probably in that price range. Yep.
Okay. And so this is great because now you get an idea. Obviously, for those that want a better bang for their buck and they're looking to sell their property, maybe doing some pre-work, right? Some touches so that they can get that top comp in the area pricing. I
Hmm.
mean,
Absolutely.
that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah,
And so,
sorry. It's all about kind of making your house as modern and as up to date as possible, right? Basically, if you're selling, you probably want a new fresh coat of paint throughout the whole house, right? Either refinish your hardwood floors or put a new vinyl floors on down. And then the question comes in the kitchen and bathroom. How updated is the kitchen and bathroom? Right? If you've done let's say, your bathroom and your kitchens in the last 10 years,
mm,
in the bathroom, for the most part, is going to be okay. The kitchen, depending on the type of cabinets you have, may already be outdated, unfortunately.
Oh wow.
So if you have some type of like an oak cabinet, or let's say maybe even a maple cabinet, with a with an arched door,
Okay.
that may already be somewhat outdated, right? So what's still up to date now is, let's say, either white or blue or even a green shaker cabinet,
Mm,
is still in the style. Even though people are kind of getting tired of the white shaker, it's still in style. You can do flat panel doors with like a veneer, right? Also, depending on where you are, if you're like in a high rise building, or a condo, those are very popular. With a wood, like a light wood veneer, right?
mm.
Or like that shiny white flat panel door. Those are still very popular.
You see, when you're a blue collar guy and you're working in an office, or you're a banker or a financial advisor, a nurse, you don't have some of these thoughts.
Hmm.
Hearing you
Right.
talk, I'm just like, I'm a picture person, right? I wish we could just do a screen share of some of the things and the images and just have them pop up. Maybe on the Opus clip, we can have something pop up a little bit as we cut
Yep.
this video up later. But this was great.
Yeah.
This was a ton of fun. You know, before we go, I
Uh-huh.
want to hear what is a call to action for people that are watching this. I think that this is very good for homeowners looking to sell, trying to do some retouches to get the top comp. This is for investors, flippers that are looking also to kind of maybe get better rental income by doing some renovations in the house and
Yes.
reaching another level of person of quality income. What would be your call to action, Joey?
Yeah, I would say, hey, just reach out to me. Either send me a DM, give me a phone call, send me email, whatever it is. Reach out to me if you're looking for like a consultation. We can have a quick phone call to see what you're kind of looking for, what type of issue you're having or you're not having, and you know, uh, we can just do that.
That's a good. I mean, a call to action. That's if anybody is looking to renovate their house, do an addition, they want to get an estimate. What
Mhm.
kind of work do you do? One more time.
Yeah, so we do kitchens and bathrooms, basements, additions, decks. So those are, finishing attics. Uh, we do like smaller projects up to, the $1 million new home builds. So everything in between.
And where's your showroom? Because you have a beautiful showroom.
Thank you. Yeah, you've been there. We are in Garfield, New Jersey, 125 Harrison Avenue. It's called Kitchen Design Lab, but we design more than just kitchens.
And then Joey, 2025, we just finished quarter 1. We're in Q2 right now. We understand that the climate in the market, the tariffs might be changing some pricing. What is the final thoughts on today's show of Money Monday, talking about how we can help someone save or make money towards their dream home? Final thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I think that even if you think you're not ready, or if you don't have that cash set aside to do the home or that renovation you're looking for, still talk to either me or Anthony. And we have different financing routes. So if you're looking for any type of loan or anything like that, we can definitely help you with that as well. So
And that's a very good, the financing part as a final thought.
yeah.
Obviously, you could plan, you can do all this and that you want under the sun, but if you don't have money, it's not going to move a needle. All
Yep,
right.
exactly.
And I always like to close the show, for those that know, with a closing quote. This is by Ralph Waldo Emerson. The quote of the show: a house is made with walls and beams, a home is built with love and dreams. Thank you guys for watching. This is Anthony Rosa, the community finance coach, Mr. Remedy. You're watching another show on a Money Monday, sponsored by Fresh Start Advancement. Thank you so much, Joey, for coming on. Don't go anywhere. Hang out in the afterglow with me. But for you that are watching, go in grace, go in peace. Till next Monday. See you guys later. Bye, everybody.